It is very cold in Ottawa. This has been going on for hours, and they have been bringing us amazing coverage here, eyes and ears, and that includes CTV's Evan Solomon, host of Power Play and Question Period, who's also in Ottawa. Evan, what's happening where you are?
Okay, we're right in front of the Chateau Laurier. Let me just give you a sense of where we are here. This is kind of the front lines. You see, the protesters are here. Behind us are the trucks. And the police had moved up through those trucks as we've seen earlier in the day. Let's just walk down. We've got some of these.
These are nothing but peaceful.
Loving.
All the violence, guys.
This is the front line here. This woman's here.
We have something to say.
How long have you been here?
Just for the day.
Absolute bullshit.
Okay, just
bullshit. Why don't you go show all the police brutality that's going on down there for no one to show?
Just try not to swear online. Thanks, guys. Go ahead.
Something that's really important to understand. We're from Europe. I'm from England as well as Holland, and we have yearly holidays where we visit the Canadian graves of the people who liberated Holland after the Second World War.
So why are you down at the protest?
I'm down at the protest because this is a country of the land of the free. That's it. That's all we need.
Are you Canadian?
I'm a permanent resident.
Okay, great. Yeah. And so you come here for the day.
Yeah.
And has anyone stopped you from peacefully protesting?
Not at all. No, I haven't talked to a cop or anybody. We've just been walking around. We've been hugging truckers. We've been supporting everybody here because we're all for the same thing, which is peace, love, unity, freedom, how this country is supposed to be.
All right, I appreciate that. So let me thank you, by the way, for that.
I just want to say something else.
Well, just before you do.
No, do you know how the Boris Johnson, how things changed in the UK is because his own Conservative Party, they took him to task. It's the Liberal MPs.
I know. We're not going to it's not speaker's spotlight here, but I totally understand that.
Yeah,
you want to make but I just want to do a report here,
But the Liberal
Todd.
MPs have to hold Justin Trudeau to account. Okay? And that's the only way this thing is going to end, when Trudeau gets called to account by his own Liberal MPs.
All right, let me just, on that point, thanks for the point. In fact, this emergency debate on that very point of accountability was suspended, but it is going on, and there will be a vote on the Emergencies Act on Monday. Despite that, it is the law now that was enacted in the Emergencies Act, and this is why the protest, the police have decided to move in here after 22 days. This is kind of the front line at the Sussex part, as you're seeing. And again, many of the people here have been gathering, and it's been peaceful. As we've seen earlier, Todd, on the front lines, when the police move up, there have been those confrontations, and there have been, according to police, 70 arrests. But let's move a little closer if you want, and you can kind of get a sense of what it's like here. And as we move in here, Todd, get the sense here. I'll just, Barry, just go up high here. And this is kind of this. Just to give you a sense of scale. This is the heart of the protest. As you can see, Barry, on the left, you've got police officers in their tactical gear and their tear gas. To the left there, you can see the officers on horseback there. They've been stationed there throughout the day. And to our right is actually the Senate building. There's a fence in front of it. That's where the Senate is. Essentially, this talk right now is the front line of where the police are moving up and where the protesters are yelling back at them. So here we are at about closing in on 5 o'clock, and this is where you're seeing most of the protesters from Parliament Hill who have moved down to this Sussex line.
Yeah.
Back to you, Tom.
Yeah, Evan, if I can just ask you, could you hold the mic a little closer? It's so noisy there, but you were giving us a bit of a play-by-play as we heard all the yelling and the honking going on as arrests, the booing of the police. Just give us a sense of what's happening behind you, if you can, again.
Sure, and I'll try to talk louder. I got some protesters singing "O Canada," which is a very regular thing that you see here. And again, the protesters here have gathered right up towards the front line of the police, Todd. And again, there's a tactical group that has been there throughout the day when they took back that corner there of is there. That means the police and the officers on horseback are there. And I've got some protesters.
Yeah, Evan, I'm going to jump in here because it's so noisy. We're having difficulty hearing what you're saying, but I want you to stay there if you can, because yeah, if you just move back just a little bit. But basically what we're showing you here, Evan Solomon with CTV is there with his cameraman right in the thick of it, right in the crowd. People are singing "Oh Canada," people are shouting at police. They are catcalling, talking about freedom, freedom, freedom. That's the slogan we hear time and again here by these protesters. Where Evan is, where this crowd is along Wellington, Rideau, right at the corner of Sussex there. We've got the Chateau Laurier on one side, and the Parliament building's not too far away from where Evan is. And this has been really a central part of this today, where there are hundreds of police on one side, and you see all the protesters on the other who are chanting at police and catcalling them, saying shame, shame, shame for what you're doing. I mean, it's now coming up on 5 o'clock Eastern. The sun's going down within about 40 minutes or so. Very cold in Ottawa as well today, minus 11. When you factor in the wind chill, feels closer to minus 20, and that temperature is only going to drop in the hours ahead. We've seen just a massive deployment of police in order to stop this, bring it to a peaceful end. There has been a remarkable amount of restraint on the part of police so far through all of this. But now you're starting to see some of the hardcore people, the ones who have said, we're not going anywhere, who are staying. And they seem like they are not going to leave, regardless of the 70-plus arrests that we've seen. Just want to listen in a little bit, if we can, to the crowd noise here.
If they see you pushing hard, they grab you.
All right, let me jump in here again. Here you hear the obviously the honking going on there. Just let me situate you. What you're looking here at on your screen right now are two different shots, of course, from Ottawa. We've got the confrontation going on here. You see police in the background of your screen there. A large deployment of police. They've started to make arrests. These people very angry at them, shouting back at police as well, talking about how their rights are being trampled. They have a right to be there. This is not illegal. They feel that Canadian freedom is on the line here in this. And they're singing the national anthem. The flags are out as well. This kind of thing, very volatile, of course. You see the police there in riot gear. The shields are out as well. And this is what will often happen. The police will create a perimeter, and they'll start to move in, and they'll start to make arrests. All right.
Lies. That's all you guys talk is lies.
Yeah, this is what we hear often. Our own Evan Solomon being confronted again by a protester.
We're here in the middle of the crowd. There's lots of protesters surrounded us. They're not obviously super happy with the media here. They were in the middle of the front lines. And
lie constantly. Why don't you tell them we're violent? I want to hear what you're a liar.
Why didn't you say a bunch of our jobs here?
You're a liar.
Get a little sense, Todd, of what the crowd is like right now. The police are right behind you.
We're lying.
Literally right there. The police are guys here who are asking me what we're recording. We're trying to give a sense of exactly what's going on here, Todd. And we'll move out so you can get a better sense. We'll move back so Barry can get an upper shot. But if you can see right here, I'm going to leave it over here, Barry, because the being drowned out by the crowd noise, people singing, and also some
some very heated confrontations there between Evan and some of those protesters, angry at him as he's simply trying to tell the story and report on what's going on there. We've seen this time and again where the media are being blamed for not telling the story, but look what we're doing. We're telling the story. We're talking to protesters. We're showing the footage. We're explaining what's going on. We're trying to make sure that, you know, the so-called Freedom Convoy protesters do get a chance to express their opinions. We know what those opinions are. In some cases, they want Justin Trudeau to resign. In other cases, they want the Canadian government to resign. In other cases, they simply want all the COVID measures. Of course, it's become, to be lifted, it's become much, much more than just that, though, for many of these people. This is day 22, by the way. You can understand how everyone is exhausted. Everyone is tired. It is very cold in Ottawa today. It's only going to get colder. And these crowd scenes give you a sense of just how volatile this is here. As people are angry, they're angry at the police. They see arrests being made. They know that the organizers, some of them have been arrested. I think we have Evan Solomon back. I saw him there on camera. If we can reestablish a link with him. Evan, can you hear me? Can you tell me what's happening?
Yeah, hi Todd, how you doing? So we are right in the crowd. I know it gets very loud, so I'll try to talk loud. Look, the police line is for the first time moving up here.
Big show attacking.
You can see right in front of me. The protesters are obviously pushing back, and so it's kind of going back and forth.
Big show for the media.
Of course, we're getting shouted at a bit, and you can understand that. We've experienced that throughout the day. But, you know, if I can just give you a sense that at this point,
so I'm going to jump in again, Evan, because we're losing your audio again. Obviously, the volatility of the situation, but clearly we see the riot police are advancing up. They're moving closer and closer to your position right now.
yeah, they are trying.
It's just there's so much. The soundscape is just so intense. It's impossible to make you out at this point. But what we are seeing, clear indication now that this massive show of force by police, they're starting to move in. They're starting to make arrests. And these protesters, certainly a hardcore group, not going anywhere. You can see them. They're shuffling. They're angry. They're shouting. They're pushing back at police. And the police starting to decide, look, we've got to go now. We've got to move in. We've got to clear this area, which you can see just in the background there. That's the Chateau Laurier, of course. That just in the background, that beautiful hotel in Ottawa. We've got Evan Solomon there as well, and his cameramen who are there. They're being catcalled. They're being shouted at. They're being insulted as well. Evan, I think we may have you back here. Am I correct in saying they're moving forward here now?
Yeah, they are definitely moving forward. Every couple of minutes, you're getting the police line moving forward. To my left, Todd, you can see now the police on horseback are moving in to give support to the other officers. And of course, the protesters are chanting freedom. And here come the riot police on their horses. And this is the biggest escalation we've seen so far, Todd. And obviously now, the police on horses are moving to reinforce, and the protesters are filming them. They're pressing back at the front, and here at the back, as some of them are saying, they're very peaceful. And of course, we're experiencing the same catcalls from various people. And some of the protesters here are saying we have been peaceful, and they are here.
This is unacceptable behavior. What the riot squad is doing right now is unacceptable behavior.
Did you guys know that? I'm asking. Did you know that they had said they were going to, when they leafleted, that they said this was going to happen?
Is this public property? I thought I was a Canadian citizen. I didn't think that the police had the right to tell me I'm not allowed to walk on public streets.
I'm And what about the trucks? I'm just asking, what was your sense when the trucks were parked here for 21 days and the government said it was illegal?
So the government, it's not illegal.
To park your truck anywhere?
What the government is doing is illegal.
But not according to the Emergencies Act, though.
I'm an Ottawa citizen. The Emergencies Act. I'm not even going to get started on that stuff because I know you're probably, which news are you?
You're live right now on air with CTV News.
Oh, wow. I'm done with this interview.
Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, I appreciate it. So, Todd, you just get a sense of the situation now, and I'll throw it back to you, but obviously, look, I can give you a sense that right here at the front line of Sussex, the police action is happening. As night's falling, obviously the police are still moving up. They're moving up the line. Todd, I'll throw back to you.
Yeah, Evan Solomon there in the crowd, and you can see people are angry. People are upset at the media. In some cases, they consider us part of the problem, or as they would put it, peddler of lies. But you can see where we are. We're out there. We're talking to them. We're showing the story. We're presenting their opinions as well as we cover the story as the police are starting to move in Ottawa. And we just want to salute the fact that, our reporters are out there in very cold weather. It's exhausting. They've been out there for hours and in not ideal conditions. They're being yelled at. They're being accused of all sorts of things. They're being insulted personally. They're being jostled in some cases as we try to bring you ongoing coverage here of what you're seeing in Ottawa. And as Evan pointed out, night is coming. The sunset in Ottawa in about 20-25 minutes or so. Very cold. It's going to get colder now in the hours ahead, and we are starting to see a clear indication of more police action. So what has changed in just the last couple of hours, we've seen more trucks leaving the area. We've also seen more arrests being made. We may be upwards at about 100 or so now. I think we may have, I saw Evan there who may have been trying to talk to us. Evan, if you are still there, can you tell us what the latest is?
Anyways, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Good luck. Stay safe out there, right?
Absolutely right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, Evan's sort of interviewing people on the fly. Yeah, go ahead, Evan.
Yes, Todd, we're back here. There's lots of, look, this is one of the more tense situations. Throughout the day, the police have moved up, and as I say, this is maybe the next phase at Sussex here, where the action, and right behind me, you can see the police are moving again. The line is moving as we speak, Todd. You can see it. The line has moved forward as the officers on horseback retreat, and so that's done. So every couple minutes they're moving forward, and the protesters are moving farther and farther up the hill past the chateau towards Parliament Hill.
Hey, Evan, so, can I ask you a question?
Again,
are they actually arresting people, or are they just pushing them forward?
Todd, I can't see if anybody has been arrested because what usually happens is at the front lines, if someone is arrested, they're literally pulled through the line, and I can't see any of that, so I can't report on that. I can only report that they're coming back, and,
You're lucky you're not in Alberta. Where were you 2 weeks ago?
And so this is part of what we're appreciating that.
2 weeks ago. You've really been on the ground. They lie. They're paid by the globalists.
Okay, so, I mean, these are part of what we hear, that we're paid by the globalists. So, Todd, I'm going to throw it back to you. He wants to say something. You want to say something?
Doing the real thing according to you. What is doing the real thing?
I don't know what your question is. What do you think?
You know what my question here? You're not deaf.
No, but I'm not 100% sure what you're asking.
What is doing the right thing? Do we have a Charter of Rights that was signed 62 years ago? Do we have that Charter of Rights? Hasn't been torn apart?
One question?
Yeah.
Wait. I need.
No. Give me. If we were to go to war with Russia,
just a second. Okay, there you go.
If we were to go to war with Russia, would you go there?
Oh, I know.
Would you volunteer yourself to go fight a war over there?
What's the relevance of the question? I'm just trying to figure out.
I'm just asking a question.
Well, I'm a journalist. What's the question?
A journalist.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, are you
All right.
proud of what you're doing right now?
Yeah, we're going to
I'm
jump in
trying to-
here, Evan, if we can, and just bring in Chris Lewis, our public safety analyst, who is joining us, a former commissioner of the Ontario Provincial Police Force, a man who knows law enforcement very well. And Chris, you've been following this from where you are and watching the situation. You were listening in to some of the the confrontations going on. Just so much anger out there, anger at the government, anger at the police now, anger at the media. And your thoughts now as you watch this policing operation, what appears to be bringing this story to an end. We don't know how long that end is going to take, but definitely an overwhelming show of support from Ottawa Police, the RCMP, the OPP, Toronto Police, GTA Police, the Sûreté de Quebec, even police, Chris, from as far away as Vancouver.
That's right. I mean, this is a tremendous show of support. I get the frustration of the members of the public that wish they had seen this weeks ago. Absolutely agree. But that's not what happened. And they are there now. So Ottawa Police has the ability with the partner agencies to try and clean this mess up. They're trying to do it very methodically, trying not to rile the crowds up. I think Evan should have been a police officer because he's keeping it cooler than I might in that same situation. But that's the goal, is to try and talk it down, talk their way out of things, but get people out. And the time for talk is all but over, but it's still always an option. And they're going to keep pushing in like they have and slowly push people out or arrest them. And I had originally said earlier today, Todd, that I kind of expected this to be over, that part of it, at least not the truck towing, by the end of daylight. That's not going to happen. So they're going to have a presence there all night to not lose any ground, really, and then continue tomorrow. And so this might go on for another day or two. Yeah,
and as night falls, Chris, within the next 20, 25 minutes or so, what does that do to this whole operation for police?
Well, it really it complicates it. It makes it a little more dangerous because we still don't know what's in those trucks. We still don't know what some of those people in the crowd are carrying, and they may not be carrying fire.
All right, Chris, I'm just going to jump in here because we're now looking at footage of police on horseback who are now establishing. I believe some of those police are from Toronto.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Evan.
Let's go.
Yeah, Evan's going to move out of the way. Our cameras are going to move out of the way to a safer spot.
Very quick now.
Because
hang on.
You call this appropriate?
All right. So Todd, can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So there was just a major move from the police line. Again, they're pushing up. The riot police on the horseback just came up and they moved the line. The line was just pressed back. So the tension is definitely going up here now. There's no question right now. Temperatures going up.
By the way, a cop just punched me in the face. Do you want to tell that to CTV?
You're
right there just punched me in the face. Literally punched me in the face. And I didn't touch him. I never touched him. I stood there and he punched me 3 times.
So here's a protester that just says she was punched. So you can get a sense here, Todd, at the front line, the temperature's going up here, their tension's going up. There's as the line is moving.
All right, Evan, we're going to jump out and bring back Chris Lewis into the conversation. Okay. A very volatile situation, of course. Evan is right there on the front line. His cameraman is there, too, talking to protesters, being verbally insulted and catcalled by those same protesters who are both angry at the media for our coverage, but yet they want the coverage. And Chris Lewis is joining us, too, Chris. You know, the tactic we're going to see now, because as they push, and we're looking at the footage here, they're basically pushing the protesters along Rideau. Soon will become Wellington when you get over the canal there. They're basically pushing them westward toward the Parliament Hill and that whole area. But at what point do you start to go in and actually make arrests? Just give me a sense operationally as you're pushing forward. Eventually, you're going to have to start pulling people out of the crowd if they don't disperse willingly.
That's right, and it's really difficult to tell from the the limited perspective, and the incident commanders for the public order side of this are on the ground. They're watching it, they're hearing it, and they get a sense of what to tell the different units and squads to do. So they'll say push left, back up here, go right, based on what they're seeing live, and those are difficult calls, but they do it based on years of doing that job. And knowing it much better than I do, and then knowing all the dynamics in terms of the intelligence information on top of what they can actually see in front of their eyes. But that is the ultimate goal. Eventually, when they push, they're going to start yanking some people out of that crowd, throwing them in behind, surrounding them with officers, and then getting them out of there. But you can't do that quickly with hundreds of people. You can only do a couple here, a couple there, and slowly pick through and hope that some see the better judgment plays in and they start to realize I'm not going to win this fight. But what you see here, Todd, largely is what was an issue from the beginning, was the lack of resources. How could you ever do that with less than all the resources you have and still have backup resources and other special units to relieve these guys, because they can't work 24 hours a day. And so for every officer you see, there's another one out there somewhere trying to get ready to come in to help or relieve the officers that are there, as well as all the roadblocks and checkpoints. This is huge, absolutely huge operation.
And we're being very cautious and careful, Chris, with the footage that we do show because of the volatility of the situation. Just want to point that out to our viewers here. We have our correspondents out on the ground, but as you can see, night is falling now over Ottawa. I just want to ask you real quick about the evening factor here as things get dark and what that does to police. You started to answer that, and I had to cut away to go to Evan. Can you just tell us, from a police point of view, what that means now as night approaches?
Well, it's kind of like when you were a kid and playing hide and go seek. It was easier to play in the dark. And they're basically faced, it's a simple analogy, but they're basically faced with that. Once it's dark, they can't see where people are as easily. It becomes a lot more difficult to manage. It's easy to throw a brick or something at police when you're at a corner and you can jump behind the corner. They don't even know where you are in the dark. So the threat gets a little bigger. The possibility of projectiles or even firearms in the dark increases because it's easier to hide and manage from the bad guy perspective. So that may never happen, but it's still, they have to be thinking that way. There was a cache of guns seized in Coutts, Alberta, and the Minister of Justice related that to this protest. So police are on edge, and from physical violence, and that's why they paid the big bucks, although they don't want it, and I don't blame them. But they're also facing those unknowns because they don't know what's in pockets or in trucks that are still there that haven't been cleared. And so it just kind of puts it makes it a little scarier in the dark, for lack of a better term.
Chris Lewis, CTV public safety analyst, with his insights. Chris, stand by, because I want to bring in our bureau chief in Ottawa, Joyce Napier, who is in the capital today following all of this. We're also looking at the horses, Joyce, that are moving in. These, we believe, are from Toronto, police from Toronto, that were sent in with the horseback riding police there moving through the capital. Mubin Sheikh is also joining us. He's a security expert as well. Joyce, your thoughts on what we're seeing?
Well, it's so interesting to see this because we have seen practically no action for the last 3 weeks. So we've gone from 0 to 100 in a few hours. I mean, this morning it was still quiet. Checkpoints were set all around the city, about 100 checkpoints. So it was hard to get. We are right in the middle of this. Our offices are right here. So it was hard to get here, even with our passes. And then the operation started. We thought it may start in the cover of darkness, but it didn't. It started this morning, and then we realized how many police were in Ottawa. I mean, for those of us who live in Ottawa, in the dormant city of Ottawa, this is extraordinary. These are images that people who are born and raised here have never seen. And, I know Mr. Lewis was talking about the various challenges. In other words, when it gets dark, what to find in the trucks. These people could run down the many streets around this area and hide. So it will be challenging. Another big challenge, and I'm asking that question to our experts, is those children. We have seen over the past 3 weeks so many children. There were bouncy castles, there were playgrounds, people telling us that it was like camping, almost oblivious to the fact that there was a buildup, and a political one and a law enforcement one. So my question is, obviously the fact that we know there are children there, we don't know if any of these children are gone, if all of them are gone, if some of them are still in some of those vehicles and some of those trucks. This is an added difficulty for the police. How do they deal with that?
Yeah, let's bring in Mubin Sheikh. Mubin, if you could hear us there, your thoughts on what Joyce was saying.
Yeah, first of all, it's just despicable for parents to be bringing their children to this event. They knew exactly what they were doing when they brought their kids. And the purpose of this was to portray a narrative that this is a protest, quote unquote, made up of normal people, families, trying to make it a very family-friendly event, trying to be very careful not to make this into an aggressive event so that they could say, look, we're just peaceful protesters. And we already heard, some days ago when City of Ottawa Children's Aid Societies were making comments around this of worried about the children's safety, children being subjected to truck fumes all day and all night, living in really cramped quarters, no real hygiene, no school, and worst, and I don't think we have ever seen this in our history, that people have been using their children as human shields. And that's exactly the term to use. They were literally putting their children in front of them as the police were approaching. So this just lends, just shows an aggravating factor and shows really how despicable all of this is.
Hey, Mubin, I just want to read something too live to you on the air as we continue our coverage here. This is just coming from Ottawa Police via Twitter, Mubin. Let me read it. Protesters are assaulting officers. They are assaulting officers, have attempted to remove officers' weapons. All means of de-escalation have been used to move forward in our goal of returning Ottawa to its normalcy. Your immediate thoughts on that?
Yeah, it reminds me of January 6th, actually, when the insurrectionists were doing the exact same to police, exact same thing. I have no doubt that these individuals would use those weapons on the police, and what an atrocious situation we would find ourselves in if that was to happen. So it just shows you again that we're not dealing with, normal protests.
And also for police, the challenge in trying to bring this to a peaceful, and I underline and emphasize the word peaceful, and the amount of restraint that we've seen from police.
Is that for me? I thought that might be for Chris.
No, it's that is for you. Your thoughts on just sort of how police have handled this over the last, now we're looking at about 7-8 hours or so.
Yeah, I'm very sympathetic to the police situation. When about 8,000 people showed up at the beginning, the police were completely outnumbered. There was no way that they could get they couldn't really do much. I understand people were demanding that police enforce, and that will be discussed, I'm sure, in the days to come. But the police have been handling it very, very well. Some people might say a little too peacefully, in that they weren't seen confronting protesters, saying things, being violent, mindlessly violent. So, let's have some patience for the police. They really have a really tough job, and I think they've been doing very well thus far.
Our Bureau Chief, Joyce Napier, is with us too. And Joyce, just an unprecedented situation for the capital, as you're very familiar with, unlike anything Ottawa has ever seen before.
Absolutely. And, at the beginning, and I think that's what irritated a lot of residents here in Ottawa, is that we saw the police actually, once the trucks were in place in front of the Parliament and, spread all over what is now known as the red zone, police were actually seemed to be almost sympathetic to the truckers, even when they were honking day and night, which the mayor called noise pollution. So, if Ottawans are irritated against police, there is a reason. They were helping them bring fuel to their trucks. Look, we don't want people to freeze to death in their trucks, understandably, but they were encouraging them. We saw them carrying food. We saw them, helping them out. Now, we don't want anybody to not be warm and minus 30 temperatures, because the capital gets really, really cold at night. But on the other hand, is that really the role of the police to be helping them out? So that's what happened, and that's when the criticism really started. And at the same time, the politicians were all silent. The Prime Minister was nowhere to be seen. The Premier was, nowhere to be heard. And the Mayor of Ottawa was asking for a negotiation with these people. So, if the residents of Ottawa are frustrated, there are good reasons. More as frustrated against the so-called, Freedom Convoy, as much as they are against their politicians, who really, there was a lack of leadership and also a lack of law and order for 2 full weeks You really didn't know when this would come to an end as more and more truckers were coming in, and the weekends became one big giant party in front of Parliament. You know, and nobody's against parties. We all like them. But, you know, the chief of police who resigned last week asked for more help, asked for reinforcements. So the reinforcements are here now. The question is that anybody who lives in Ottawa is asking is, how did it take 3 weeks? So I want to ask Mr. Lewis, is there an explanation as to why this took this long to be where we are today?
You know, I don't have an answer, but I certainly agree with everything you're saying. The politicians, you know, the poor planning at the front end caused this thing to be entrenched in the city. There was a lack of enforcement, absolutely. You know, I've heard it time and time again and saw video footage of some of it. Now, you know, an inquiry will sort some of this out later, but I'm also hearing that there was orders, you know, from very high up in the police department to officers not to take action because they didn't want to inflame it, et cetera. So some of that will be true, some not, I assume. Still wrong. Absolutely get the perception. Why it took 3 weeks to get the number of people here from other departments that it did, I don't get. I know it's challenging because the OPP and the RCMP, they're very understaffed, and some of their communities are running short of officers now. So how do you get more to, you know, to come to Ottawa, where there was a time we could have got 1,000 in probably within 2 days, but we had a lot more people in those days too, which is a different failure within policing, the policing community. So there's no excuses for a lot of it, Joyce, for sure. Some of it we'll never know the truth until there's people actually testify at an inquiry in a hearing of some sort, because there were some very strategic mistakes made, and allegedly from the uniform side perspective at a high level, without naming names, there was mistakes. There was direction given to officers that frustrated them as much did frustrate the community, and then other officers acting of their own accord supportive of the truckers, and they need to be dealt with from the disciplinary perspective, but not all of them.
We're going to go back on the streets as well as we continue to follow this, because Evan Solomon is standing by. Evan, what's happening where you are right now?
So we are just up again from the line. There's the Chateau Laurier. The line is moved up. When the police use the officers and the horses, there is a confrontation with the protesters. We just saw one protester literally carried out by others up the street. She's obviously been hurt. So what's happening at the front line when they move that line is very real, and we've seen that. As I said, one protester told me she'd been punched. In the meantime, the line holds and then it moves and it holds and it moves, and more protesters are moving down there from Parliament Hill down in front of the Chateau. But again, this is the situation.
Right here, and we are
we've got.
We're being fried here.
And then we've got obviously a lot of people who are obviously very, very, very angry about lots of different things. And
send help!
hang on. Okay, so there's protesters there that believe that there's electromagnetic weapons because their cell phones are dying. There's a lot of cell phone coverage that drops around here. And one of the protesters saying, one guy saying that. But look, I will say this, that, you know, in talking to all these folks, Todd, you know, we're all about maybe 50 feet from the front line. People are talking, they're expressing their point of view, and they're here because despite the Emergencies Act and despite 22 days, they believe that their protest still matters. And their protest about the Emergencies Act and the vaccine mandate is real. This is a real feeling that whatever happens on this patch of ground or on that patch of ground, the feeling that these people have is not changing. And that's going to be something that whatever happens today, tomorrow, and the next day, the country's going to be thinking about and dealing with. So in the meantime, Todd, on the ground, as you say, you've got a grandmother, you've got people from all walks of life who are here still, despite the police action going on and continuing for the next, we don't know how long, day or two. Todd.
Yeah, and also, Evan, you raise a great point. You know, the risk here of you know, marginalizing some of the voices or dismissing them out of hand as radicals, saying they're not representative. But as we see, they are representative, and there are certainly signs they have a lot of support in different parts of the country.
It's very dangerous to generalize, and if you talk to any of the protesters, one of the things that infuriates a lot of people here is the generalizing. You say we are X or Y. People here, as I've spoken to, for lots of different reasons. On the other side, the government's view in invoking the Emergencies Act is, after 22 days of what has been a protest that has been going on, they believe the law has been violated, it's risen to a certain threshold, and they're going to enforce the law and take back the streets. The residents of Ottawa are very frustrated. But again, you have to realize here that whatever happens here, Todd, the governments at all levels, municipal, provincial, and federal, have to realize that after 2 years of COVID, changes are going on. Now, what those are remains to be seen. But let me just show you. There's a protest here in the nation's capital that is still going on, despite the government saying there's going to be severe penalties, despite the fact that some people have been arrested and will go to prison. Despite that, these people are still here to express their point of view. And that shows you how passionately they feel about it. Now, at this point, again, we haven't seen, it's tense at the line. And as you saw when we were just there, it gets very tense. But so far, the police, they move, they stop, they move, they stop. And in the kind of spectrum of riot control or things, so far this would be on the calmer end. It doesn't mean that every moment's been calm, but the protesters and the police have not, it hasn't blown up into a big clash yet. I'll throw it back to you, Todd.
All right, Evan Solomon there on the streets of Ottawa. They're watching what's happening in real time here, ongoing coverage of these protests in the capital as we've been bringing them to you throughout the day. We know close to 100 arrests have been made, but there's now a lot of angry jostling going on, confrontations going on. The police have been showing a remarkable degree of restraint for the past 7-8 hours or so as this has continued. But as you can see, it's starting to get dark in Ottawa. It's going to get a lot colder than it has already been, and it has been very cold throughout the day. Happy to have the mayor of Ottawa, Jim Watson, joining us with his thoughts today. Mayor Watson, appreciate your time amid all of this. Your take on what we're seeing here in the streets of your city.
Well, thank you, Todd, for the invitation. Obviously, very concerned. I think the morning session and last night went quite well. We're now getting into a more hardened group that are entrenched, that don't seem to have any regard for the rule of law. And I have great admiration for the patience of our police officers. They're put under a very difficult circumstance. They're being spat upon, yelled at, and they're true professionals, as Chief Bell said at the news conference today. So it's disheartening to see this come to this situation. I would have preferred, quite frankly, that the whole thing would have been wrapped up a day or two after the day they had their protest. That's how most protests work. You come, you protest, then you leave. These people camped out, and it just got worse and worse. We had to get extra resources. We're appreciative of the other municipal police forces and the Premier and the Prime Minister for providing additional RCMP and OPP. And as the images show on your network, Todd, thank God we had those extra resources, because this is far from over. We've done very well. I have great faith in the plan that the Chief has put forward. But now with the nighttime coming, the colder weather, people start to act up even more, as we're seeing just in the last half hour. This has to be brought to a conclusion as quickly as possible and as safely as possible to avoid any loss of life or serious injury.
And Jim, I just want to bring in our bureau chief to the conversation in Ottawa, Joyce Napier. Joyce.
Hi, Mayor. Thanks for being there. But you call them hardened group that is entrenched, yet you negotiated with some of these people. You even invited them to move their trucks and their vehicles onto Wellington, which is, for the people who are listening to us, that big street right in front of Parliament, giving them an incredible legal argument against the fact that they are an illegal occupation, seeing that they were invited by the mayor to be there. So a lot of us have asked ourselves the question, why did you tell them to come, to more trucks to come and park on Wellington?
Well, because, Joyce, my number one preoccupation was to give some relief to the residential communities that have been the hardest hit. You know, we sit comfortably in our homes and offices and studios. These people have been put through sheer hell for the last 21 days. And we managed to get over 102 big rigs out of the residential neighborhoods that were spewing diesel and gasoline 24 hours a day, catcalling people, yelling and screaming, homophobic slurs and the like. And as I said, my preoccupation was, how do we help those people who are trapped in their homes, their condos, their apartments?
I lost.
That we give some relief to those individuals.
But you gave them a big legal argument, because if the occupation is illegal, they can tell you that no, it isn't. We were invited to come here by the mayor of Ottawa. So,
well, I don't know where you got your.
I understand. Okay. I understand that you wanted to get them out of those neighborhoods. I live in Ottawa. I totally understand that. But bringing them on Wellington and then saying that now it is illegal sounds like a bit of a contradiction. A lot of people were asking themselves that question, Mayor.
Yeah, and when it's explained to them, number one, I had a legal opinion that it was not what you're suggesting, so I'm not sure where your legal opinion is from. And secondly, I didn't hear a lot of other suggestions from other people how we get some of these big rigs off streets like Kent and Metcalfe and O'Connor, which are residential streets. The farther south you go, they become more and more residential. And we had heard the pleas from people in Centretown and from all different parts of the urban core that this was just debilitating for the people, the men, women, and children that live in Centretown. And my obligation as mayor is to do whatever I can to protect those individuals, not the truckers. If we get the truckers out of there, that's a good deal for those people who haven't got a good night's sleep in over 3 weeks.
But you've been asking for help, Mayor, and you have been asking for help since day one. You asked for help from the province. You asked for help from everyone. How difficult, and why do you think it was so difficult for you to get that help?
Well, at times it was frustrating, and that's why I went to speak to the Premier and the Prime Minister personally to explain the situation. We sent them the letter asking for additional resources. And to the credit of the provincial government and the federal government, they did provide us incremental increases in officers over the course of the last couple of weeks. But we needed a big infusion of officers, just as we saw in Windsor. It worked quite well, sort of this massive number of OPP and Windsor and RCMP. And now we have those officers. If your station's been reporting, you see police officers from Durham, Gatineau, Sûreté de Québec, Toronto. It's been all hands on deck, and I'm very appreciative of our municipal partners providing those officers, because, as you know, we just saw the skirmish that took place just 5 minutes ago. It's a very serious situation. If we don't have the resources and the police officers to back up all of the legal documents that we throw at these people, it won't be worth the paper it's written on. We have to get them out of town. They have to go back to their own communities. They seem to be confused that most of the mandates have nothing to do with certainly the municipal government, and very few have to do with the federal government. They should go and lobby their provincial governments and leave our town so we can clean the place up, because it's turned into a complete pigsty, urinating all over the place, having pig roasts, and showing such insensitivity to the residents of this city. Can you imagine in their neighborhood if a bunch of 18-wheelers decided to come and honk their horn all night, all day, have a pig roast, an illegal fire, drinking in public? They wouldn't want it at all. So I think it's time for them to leave, and for their relatives, quite frankly. If they're seeing this on television, they should call their relatives who are staking out in Wellington and say, get the hell home, because you're going to lose your truck, you're going to lose your license, it's going to be impounded, it's going to be sold off, you won't be able to go to the United States as a trucker. You have everything to lose under the Emergency Act. So I don't quite understand why they're digging in, particularly when so many provinces are removing many restrictions from COVID-19.
All right, we're listening to the mayor of Ottawa there, Jim Watson, who's giving us his take on the situation here and, the sort of nature as this plays out now. It's 5:35 Eastern time here in the capital. as we continue to bring you ongoing coverage. Here's what we know so far. As we're showing you on your screen, 70 people have been arrested and 21 vehicles towed so far. In all likelihood, that number is much higher now because we see police moving in. If Jim Watson is still there, Mayor Watson, I think I can see you. You know, are you getting any sense of how long this might be able, you know, this might go on for before police are able to end it? And I appreciate this is an ongoing operational situation here, and you as the mayor, you know, there's obviously a firewall there between you and the police department. But your sense, because, you know, this is the long weekend, as you just said, Family Day weekend coming up. This is an unprecedented situation for Ottawa, and you've got so many police in the streets. Any indication on your point of view here?
Yeah, Todd, I don't want to put undue pressure on our police service by me musing about when the city is going to return back to normal. It's certainly going to take some time, first and foremost, to get the people and then the vehicles, and then to go in and clean up the mess that's been created there by these individuals who seem to have no respect for symbols or for human beings, namely the citizens of this city. So it's going to take some while, and it's also going to require a go-forward plan so that, you know, do we have to maintain a closure of Wellington Street in front of the parliamentary precinct, for instance? If that's the recommendation of the police, then our Public Works Department has to make sure that that takes place, because the last thing we need is to get everyone out of town and then all of a sudden a bunch of yahoos say, let's go back to Ottawa. We can't allow this to happen again.